Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are going to be transforming my crusty and dusty toes. I'm struggling, you guys. So I figured I would go ahead and record this. I haven't done a toe video in a while. I was getting ready to go to brunch with my girls, so I needed to do my toes really quickly. And I figured I would just record it for you guys so you guys can kind of see the process. So we are starting off with my at-home products that I use for my toes. Whenever I get ready to do anything at my house, I have a set of tools that I use. So for this video, we are using the Makartt rechargeable Efile. I will leave that linked down below. It is my go-to. I use it all the time whenever I'm using anything at home. If I need an Efile, I have this one and it has yet to fail me, so definitely recommend it. I'm starting off by filing off my current gel polish. I'm just going to use this Carbide bit for that. I'm doing this extremely careful because you don't want to overfile. It can be very easy to overfile on your natural nail when using a Carbide bit, but just have it at a very low speed. I have it at about 6,000 RPMs, I believe, and I'm using extremely light pressure when doing this, especially because it's kind of hard to work on my toes. I want to be extra careful, so I'm angling it as best as possible so that I do not overfile. Now I'm going to go ahead and do that on the rest of the nails. It's just a thin layer of white gel polish, so it's not going to take too much effort to remove it. I've tried soaking off gel polish off of my toes before and it was a total fail, and I do think it's because I use the stain resistant top coat from Youngnails and it's more of a hard gel, so that does not soak off. So if you have to end up filing all that top coat off, might as well just go ahead and file the gel polish, which is why I do it this way instead of soaking it off. Once I'm done removing that gel polish, we're going in and buffing the shine off of our natural nail. To do this, I'm using a Mandrel bit and a sanding band, both from Profiles Backstage. The sanding band is medium grit. It's their purple ones. They're super fine, so it's not going to create too much damage. Even if you use the coarse one, it should still be good to go. My Efile speed now is down to 4,000 RPMs, and I'm just very carefully going around that cuticle area and then gently buffing off the shine, while also trying to remove the extra gel polish that I wasn't able to remove with my Carbide bit. So I'm gonna go in again, very light pressure, and while I am buffing off that shine, I'm also pushing back that cuticle as well to expose a little bit more of my natural nail and get all that dead skin off. Now very quickly, because I do not have a needle bit, I'm going to be using this one. It's like a cone bit. It's also diamond grit, so it's nice and fine. And I'm just going around typically where I would file with the needle bit and just really try to get into those hard to reach areas to fully get all of that off. And I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that on the rest of the nails. Now I also do not have a cuticle ball bit here at my house, so I'm going to be using another rounded one that I found in all of my stuff. and I'm just gonna carefully be buffing off that dead skin from the cuticle, and it does it very, very well. It's also a diamond bit as well, so I'm gonna go ahead and just gently remove that, and it does it very easily. Now if you have a little bit of more stubborn dead skin, go ahead and up your speed a little bit on your Efile. If I do need to up it, I go up to 5,000 or 6,000 RPMs, and always remember to use very, very light pressure. Now I am going to be filing my nails into the shape that I want, and I like to have my tips nice and squared. So I'm going to be doing just that with the Not Polish file. These are the zebra grit, and I absolutely love zebra grit files, so definitely recommend. They are very, very sturdy, which I absolutely adore, especially when you're doing extensions. You want a nice and sturdy hand file so that you get your shape nice and crisp. So I'm just gonna go ahead and square them off as best as possible. My toenails are extremely short, so I'm doing the best that I can. I'm just kind of dusting off the excess, and then I'm going in with a paper towel that I had in my kitchen with a little bit of alcohol. Since I do not have lint-free wipes here or Youngnail swipe, I'm just gonna go ahead and use that. That's gonna help remove any excess dust while also dehydrate that natural nail. I'm going in with the Makartt base coat, and I'm going to be adding a thin layer of that on my big toe. I'm going to be doing polygel on my big toe. I am tired of hitting my toe and the gel polish chipping off. So to prevent that, in my last video that I did toes, somebody said to not use acrylic on my toes, and it's not absolutely a bad thing to use acrylic on your toes. You just have to be careful. However, she suggested I used polygel, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a go. I'm sure it's gonna work really, really well. So I went ahead and cured that base coat. Now we're gonna go in with a white polygel. You could absolutely use clear if you're wanting to do different colors on your toes. However, because I'm already doing white, I was like, might as well use white polygel, and if it could save me a little bit of time on polishing my big toe, why not? So I'm going to go ahead and use my base coat to apply that and shape it out. It is recommended to use alcohol with it. However, in my past polygel videos, you guys recommended, and I've tried out the polygel application process with base coat, and you guys, it is so much better, so much smoother, so much easier to work with. So definitely recommend that if you guys are testing out polygel. So I'm just going to start kind of dabbing at it. If it gets a little bit stringy like it did just now, I'm going to add a little bit more base coat and keep working with the product and kind of just pushing it wherever I want it to go. I'm trying to get it as even as possible. It is a little bit hard, but I'm making it work, and I'm just using a very light tapping motion. And then when I want to move it to a certain direction, I go ahead and just kind of pull at it very, very gently. I'm doing very, very small strokes because I don't want to thin any of it out or really mess up that application. So I'm just going to continue to kind of dab and push on it and then pull it towards the tip. And like I said, whenever it gets stringy and it sticks to my brush, I go ahead and add a little bit more base coat to allow the product to just glide where I want it to go. Now once I get to the tip, I'm going to remove any excess. So to do that, I just kind of push it all the way out, and then I use the spatula end of that brush and just scrape off the excess. I don't want it to be super bulky, and I don't want to have to overfile it at the end either. So I'm just gonna drag it all the way out, and then like I said, kind of just cut it off with that spatula end of the brush. Once I'm nice and content with that application, I'm going to go ahead and cure this in the light. I went ahead and put it in my Youngnails light for about a minute. I went ahead and started working on my other foot while that was curing, so I might have gone a little bit past that, but it honestly doesn't matter. A minute is good and it'll cure it fully. Now once that's all dry, I'm gonna go ahead and apply the white polish on the rest of my toes. This one is from Profile's Backstage. It is my go-to, my absolute favorite. You honestly just need one coat of this and it'll be super bright white, but I still like to do 2 coats just because sometimes it'll be a little bit uneven and I want it to be fully coated nicely. So I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat that on the rest of the toes, place that in the light, add my second coat, and then we're going to be top coating. Now we're going in with this stain resistant top coat from Youngnails. This is going to protect it from any stains, and when I say any stains, this stuff is amazing. So I'm going to go ahead and add a thin layer of that to my smaller toes just because I'm going to still go in and file my big toes, so I want to make sure those are all done nice and protected and they won't get ruined that way. So I'm going to go ahead and place that in the light again for 60 seconds. And then once we're out of the light, I'm going to go ahead and start filing. I went ahead and cleaned it off again with alcohol to remove that tacky layer from all of my toenails. I'm taking my hand file once again. We're going to be straightening off that tip of the toenail. And then I'm going to go ahead and file the surface of the entire nail, trying to get it nice and even, nice and smooth, and make sure that that shape is to my liking. Now for the cuticle area, I do prefer to use an Efile just because you have better grasp and you're able to really get in there without having a big hand file to worry about scratching or cutting yourself. So I'm using the Mandrel bit with a sanding band. I felt like I didn't want to overfile it, so I'm going to be using this bit instead of a Carbide bit just because it is nice and thin already in that area and I just want to make it nice and flush. So I'm going to go ahead and just go over the entire surface. And then once I am content, we are going to clean off that excess dust, top coat that big toe with some stain resistant top coat, place it in the light again for a whole minute. If you want to be extra sure that it is all fully cured, especially because we did add lots of layers of product on there, go ahead and leave it in there for another minute just to be safe. Went ahead and cleaned off that tacky layer. We're going to be adding some cuticle oil. This one is the pumpkin spice one, I believe, from the fall time. This is the one that I keep at home. I'm just lathering it all over my toes, and then we're going to be massaging that in. But that basically concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.